Hello Internet, it's Tyler again, and we're here for another Freeblades 101. This time we're just going to be talking about the game in general. This will be for somebody that doesn't know anything about tabletop gaming, has never played Freeblades, doesn't know anything about it. First things first, Freeblades is a 32 millimeter fantasy skirmish game. What does that mean? That means 32 millimeters. Normal male model is going to be 32 millimeters tall. It stacks well with Games Workshop's 28mm heroic stuff, Frostgrave, Saga, Bolt Action, etc., etc. Skirmish means you're not going to have a lot of guys. They're going to each move individually, not as units or anything like that. They all get to do their own thing. And fantasy. Swords, shields, axes, big hammers, clubs, claws, things along those lines, magic, all that good stuff. The game itself has a tiered dice system. Some games will have you all roll either a d8 or a d6, and the number you need will be lower or higher based on how well you are. This game you will use different die. If you're better at something, you'll use a bigger die, and if you're worse at something, you'll use a lower die. They have a spike mechanic. Some people call it exploding dice. If you roll the highest number on the die, you get to keep rolling and keep adding that to it. So a d4 could roll a 6 or a 7 or an 8, or however high it needs to, if it kept rolling 4s on the die. This game is, in my opinion, very much kind of like an RPGer. Your models can kind of do whatever you want them to do. You want them to climb a wall. There's a test for that. You want them to try to jump over a gap. There's a test for that. Pretty much anything you want them to try to do, there's going to be a rule that will allow them to do it. Being a skirmish game, you're going to have no more than 18 models. Each of the starter sets have 6 or 7. The ones that you can see right now are the Khazark starter sets are here. And this is the Herodellin starter set here. The other thing I really like with this company is that when they do their female models, they are not bikini clad, just sorceress type that shouldn't really be out doing anything. They are dressed like they're actual adventurers. Case in point, this here is an apprentice knight from the Herodellins. It's a female. Now I know there are certain game companies that would have her be in a chainmail bikini, or like the field agent from the Khazarks here. That is another female. Not a whole lot showing. I know game companies that would have this person be, again, running around in a bikini or hardly anything at all. To me that never seemed right, because you're out doing things. You should be dressed like you're out doing things. They have a whole line of miniatures. They've got stuff that are supposed to represent dwarves, men, elves. They also have ones like here. This one is not painted, obviously. Part of the Udgar of Valor. Tribal, clannish guys. Pretty cool. They're my next project, actually. And we have another one. This guy's got a bow. There's also big bad critters. Kind of put this guy down here in the middle to show a little contrast there. He's on a bigger base because he is a monster. This is called a golot. Think of it as a cross between a giant and an ogre. There's a special scenario that this guy shows up in, or can show up in. And that's another thing I like about this company that I want you guys to know about, is that the scenarios are amazing. They are not just me versus you. They can be, but a lot of their scenarios have a, you need to kill the critter, the big bad nasty that's in the middle. There's a way to run that without having a third person. If it's just you and your buddy, they have an AI system that is fairly straightforward and is not complicated, to where you can just fight it out. This narrow states whoever puts the last wound on the monster or the beast wins. There's another one where you have to close witch gates, because demons will come through witch gates. Demons like this guy. Little hellhound. He's called a Placra. Yeah, that one's fun. There's 3 witch gates. You have to close those. There's one where you have to gather intelligence. You have to be able to see a point on your opposing player's side, and then you have to take a test to try and see if you can gather the information you need to gather. So you don't have to even fight the enemy. Now that being said, fighting the enemy is fun, and if you break the opposing warband, you win. Like I said, this game is not model intensive. It's not going to be like a Warhammer Fantasy Battle or a Kings of War or a 40K. You can't have more than 18 guys. To start, you're going to have 6 or 7. Most starter packs have 6. I believe the Herodellans are the only ones that have 7 because they have peasants, and the peasants aren't necessarily that great of troops. They're peasants. The other thing that I love about this company is that they're always coming out with more stuff. And when I say that, I don't mean that they're releasing a one time in a year, here's an update, and here are a couple new scenarios that are just rehashed. They will, throughout the year, release, hey, this is a new scenario. They're also very keen into having their community, us, the gamers, play them while it's still in development. Hey, they just brought out a Black Knight scenario, which was pretty much a big, bad, nasty knight, and whoever can kill him will win. You can mash that up with other scenarios if you want and create your own. Again, they're very much into you telling your own story in these games. But they have the scenarios if you don't want to do that. They've got the standard, hey, you kind of just need to break the other guy, but even then you don't, you're just fighting over the middle. There'll be an objective in the middle of the table and you need to be on it. You can have you need to rescue a prisoner. One team is going to start deployed in the middle, and they've got a captured prisoner, and the other warband is trying to free them. They have, what else? There's a multiplayer one. If you've got 5, 6 of your friends that all want to play, you know what? This game can accommodate that. They've got a Borag's Hoard, which is there's a huge pile of treasure in the middle of the board, and you all start at different areas depending on how many of you there are, and you go and try and take the treasure. Whoever gets the most treasure wins. I'm just going to show up some more of the models as I'm talking, so you guys aren't just looking at the same thing all the time. Don't mind my paint job. You know, there's things like the sorcerer scenario. That one is really designed to have a actual player be the sorcerer, but you can still use the AI version of it. It'll still work just fine. And you pretty much have to, you need to have a decent force. The starter forces are not going to be designed for that. You know, they're releasing new models all the time. They've got a new whole faction coming out in the end of February called the Eclipse Sisterhood, which is pretty much, it's an all-female, and in my opinion, the sculpts are really good. I'm going to show you some of them. Like I said, these are not out yet with me recording when I am, but again, they're not just bikini clad, they're dressed like they're actual fighters. And they're here to do business and not just look pretty. But you will, if you can paint well, you can make them look pretty. The other faction they have are demons. The demons aren't released yet. That one is still in the playtesting stage right now, but they have released some of the models through the Kickstarter and whatnot. And you have like little guys like this. So there's creatures and demons. So it's not just, oh look, we have to fight other people. You'll be able to fight other nasties. The leader of the demons. And again, this company is one that I've played fantasy. I've played wargaming for more years than I like to count. Back in 2nd edition 40K, for those of you that are back for that long, I've been with GW for a long time. I've never seen the type of support that I've gotten from DGS games. Granted, there was no Facebook back when I was playing this, but even back in the heyday when GW was throwing stuff at stores for tournaments, you couldn't get answers from them on rule questions. They didn't want to, hey, make a decision. They didn't want to rule the wrong way. If you have a question, you post something on the Freeblades players Facebook page, probably at most 12 hours. I've never seen anything go longer than 12 hours not getting answered. John, who is the main game designer, will answer it probably within an hour. Normally. I swear he doesn't sleep. He wants you guys, he wants to know how to make the game better. If there's something you don't like, tell him. He can give you the reasons why. They're very open about it. Again, when I started doing miniature top wargaming, tabletop wargaming, there was no, email. There was no, at least not everybody had email. There was no Facebook, social media messaging to where you can just message somebody and immediately get a response from them. You just kind of, okay, we think this is how we do it and this is how we're going to do it, and you asked somebody that had been playing the game longer. Or you sent a letter in, or there was a phone number on a white dwarf or something. This company wants you to try their game. They think it's good. I think it's great. This game is designed to be a campaign. If you were a Mordheim fan, if you like Frostgrave, Necromunda, stuff like that, this is going to be for you. It's designed because everybody gets better. Me personally, that's the one thing that doesn't draw me to Frostgrave, is that really only your wizard and your apprentice by proxy and the captain can get better. Otherwise you just buy a knight and the knight's the knight. This muster archer, I'll say the name right this time, could turn into somebody at the end of a campaign that's, a badass. This lowly little explorer could turn into a killing phenom by the end of a campaign if he levels up well. And on the flip side, your awesome Forge Warden, who is your leader of the Khazariks, could turn into somebody that's a cripple by the time. You get experience for doing stuff in the objectives. But there's also injuries. So if you get dropped, you're not necessarily dead. You might just be hurt. Or you could be dead. That aspect of this, how it's continual, guys will get better. There's a handicap system, so that if you want to join in halfway through the campaign, they've got a way to help. Hey, yeah, we know you're just starting, and everybody else has got a 200-point band, but you've only got 150. There's a way around that. They've designed it. These guys have played games for a long time. Really, go give them a look. See, all of their minis are online at dgsgames.com. And again, you guys will be seeing more videos from me. I'm really motivated. I want to help the community out by putting out content. Again, there's hardly anything out there for Freeblades. So, until next time, I will catch you guys later.